So we're reading about the immortals, the pure and the powers of the spirit. No? The spirit's bare and absolute potencies. Alive to the truth that dwells in God's extremes, awake to a motion of all-seeing force, the slow outcome of the long ambiguous years, and the unexpected good from woeful deeds. The immortal sees not as we vainly see. He looks on hidden aspects and screened powers. He knows the law and natural line of things. Undriven by a brief life's will to act, unharassed by the spur of pity and fear, he makes no haste to untie the cosmic knot, or the world's torn, jarring heart to reconcile. In time, he waits for the eternal's hour. Yet, a spiritual secret aid is there. While a tardy evolution's coils wind on, and nature hews her way through adamant, a divine intervention thrones above. Alive in a dead, rotating universe, we whirl not here upon a casual globe, abandoned to a task beyond our force. Even through the tangled anarchy called fate, and through the bitterness of death and fall, an outstretched hand is felt upon our lives. It is near us in unnumbered bodies and births. In its unslackening grasp, it keeps for us safe the one inevitable, supreme result no will can take away and no doom change. The crown of conscious immortality, the Godhead promised to our struggling souls when first man's heart dared death and suffered life. One who has shaped this world is ever its Lord. Our errors are his steps upon the way. He works through the fierce vicissitudes of our lives. He works through the hard breath of battle and toil. He works through our sins and sorrows and our tears. His knowledge overrules our nescience. Whatever the appearance we must bear, whatever our strong ills and present fate, when nothing we can see but drift and bale, a mighty guidance leads us still through all. After we have served this great divided world, God's bliss and oneness are our inborn right. A date is fixed in the calendar of the unknown, an anniversary of the birth sublime. Our soul shall justify its checkered walk. All will come near that now is naught or far. These calm and distant mights shall act at last, immovably ready for their destined task. The ever-wise, compassionate brilliances await the sound of the incarnate's voice, to leap and bridge the chasms of ignorance and heal the hollow, yearning gulfs of life and fill the abyss that is the universe. This side? Martin, you are to start.
Alive to the truth that dwells in God's extremes, awake to a motion of all-seeing force, the slow outcome of the long ambiguous years, and the unexpected good from woeful deeds. The immortal seek not as we vainly seek.
So all this is about the immortal, those powers of the spirit. They are alive too, they are aware of, very sensitive to, the truth that dwells in God's extremes, the opposites of God. The truth and the falsehood, the light and the dark, the spirit and matter. They see that these are not separate, but are connected and all working together to serve one truth. And they are awake, they are also alert and aware of a motion, a movement of force that is all-seeing. That force is fully conscious, aware of everything. And they are aware of the slow outcome of the long, ambiguous years. We are moving in time. And we don't have that many lives in our human lifespan. So we're in a hurry. We think that things have to be done quickly. No? But those beings, they are aware that the outcome, the intended result, may take many, many years. But they are sure that it will come. No? To us, the movement of time is ambiguous. We don't know what it means and what it can bring. But they are aware of that. And they are aware because they can see this outcome of the future. They can see the unexpected good that often comes from woeful deeds, deeds that we would say, oh, what a pity, why should it happen? something so painful. Why must it happen? They are aware of the good that is going to come out of those sad, painful happenings. So he says the immortal doesn't see things the way we see things. He sees like this. He sees the truth that's dwelling in God's extremes. He sees the movement of this all-seeing force. He can foresee the outcome of the long, slow unrolling of time. And he can see the unexpected good that will come about from deeds, from actions that we would regret very much. Sarojini.
He looks on hidden aspects and screened powers. He knows the raw and natural lines of things. Undriven by a brief life's journey to earth. Unharassed by the sugar of pity and fear. He makes no haste
to untie
the cosmic knot of the world stone standing here to
reconcile. One, yes.
In time, he waits for the eternal hour.
So the he here is the immortal being. The immortal. He doesn't see as we see. The way we see is somehow vain. It's not real. It's in vain. We don't see things as they really are. The immortal is aware of aspects that are hidden to us, aspects of reality. And he's aware of powers at work in the world which are screened, hidden from us. He knows the law and natural line of things. Like the laws of nature, the laws of physics, there are certain underlying laws which determine the way things will happen in time and space. And those laws are not the same as the laws of physics. They follow, he says in one place, the logic of the infinite. So he can see that law and the natural line of things, this happens, so that will necessarily happen. And the other thing is that the immortal, he's immortal. So he's not like us, driven by the brief life's will to act. We feel we have got so much to do in a short lifetime and we have to keep moving and keep things going. No? There's no kind of push and drive like that for the immortal. He's not harassed the way we are harassed. We always feel that something is pushing us and we would like to rest, but we can't because there's things that are driving us, making us feel that we have to act. He says two of those things that harass us and drive us to action, they are pity and fear. We feel pity and sympathy for the sufferings of other people, and we want to avoid those or help to heal them. And we are afraid what might happen if we don't keep acting. But the immortal is not like that. So he is in no hurry to untie the cosmic knot. It's as if this universe is held together by a big, complicated knot, which is very, very difficult to untie. But he is in no hurry to do that, to sort things out, to solve all the difficulties. And he's in no hurry to reconcile, to bring together the different feelings and the different tendencies that are tearing the world's heart. He says the world's jarring heart. The heart is torn with suffering, but it's also jarring. Jarring is what happens when the door is not closed properly and a breeze comes and the door is not fixed. It bangs and then it bangs again. It can be very, very irritating sound, the sound of something jarring. No? A sound that's not harmonious, that indicates that something is not quite right. So often our thoughts are jarring. We have one thing in our mind that seems okay, and then just the opposite. And there's a clash and a banging and a conflict. So in our heart there are conflicting feelings like that. In the heart of the world there's pain because the heart is torn and wounded, and it's like the edges of the wound, they touch and it's so painful, that jarring.
Shraddhavan? When you said about the earth of the world,
The heart.
Heart of the world.
Yes.
For example, I tell you, I give to Kirit one question. I tell him, I know many lives when I came, I am always some
wound.
pain in my heart. And yesterday somebody gave me answer. He tell me many life you come this, and always is you choose very difficult task in the world. It was that your heart is. Alors I tell him, but it's possible this life totally, sometimes nothing, but sometimes again. Depends.
I think when we come to read the problem of pain in book 6, you will find there Aurobindo says, he who would save himself lives bare and calm. He doesn't have to suffer that pain. But he who would save the world must share its pain. So all of us who are part of Aurobindo and Mother's family, we want the divine life. We want to save the world. So because of that, we have to share in the pain and the suffering. We can't turn away from it. We can't be like these immortals on their heights and keeping a distance from it all. We have to share in the pain of the world. So it might not be finished in this life. You might have to go through it again and again and again.
Because now my cycle changed, and someday, through my question to you, your answer, something suddenly changed totally. Alors I am, and in the sense, inner sense, I have affection, eyes, not eyes. Smelling, everything changed.
So many new things are coming.
Yeah,
happening.
Actually, but it's okay.
So let's look at the last line. In time, he waits for the eternal's hour. The immortal is waiting and watching all that happens in time and space. And he's waiting for that hour when the veiled transcendence will mount his throne and earth shall be made suddenly divine. The hour of the eternal. The hour of the fulfillment. So that's how it is. We are suffering, and those powers above us seem so remote. They don't seem to respond to us. But now Aurobindo is going to tell us something else. They have to keep themselves separate and pure, otherwise their strength might be marred and they wouldn't be able to save us. But nevertheless, something else is happening. You can read it, please, Ganga Lakshmi.
Yet the spiritual sacred head is there, while the tardy evolution's coils will wind on. And nature who
Hues
her way through adamant, a divine intervention throws above.
Yes. So nevertheless, yet, a spiritual secret aid is there. So while this tardy evolution, it's taking such a long time, and it's going round and round. It seems to go round and round in circles. But Aurobindo says actually it's going around and around in spirals. But anyway, it's winding on and on. It seems to take such a long time. And nature, in order to bring about the changes, the evolution that she wants to happen, nature has to hew her way through adamant. Adamant is the strongest substance that there is. It's so difficult. Diamond, it's connected with the word diamond. And to hew means to cut. In a quarry, the quarrymen have to hew the stone, to get or to make a way, or an explorer passing through pathless jungle or forest. He has to hew his way. It's very difficult and painful to hew, and nature is having to hew her way against the resistance of all this dense, unresponsive substance, adamant. But through all that, throning above us, seated on a throne above us, there's a divine intervention, a power that acts, the power of divine grace that acts. Joel.
Alive in a dead, rotating universe, we will not hear upon casual blow, abandoned to a task beyond our force. Even through the tangled anarchy called fate, and through the bitterness of death and fall, an outstretched hand is felt upon our lives.
Yes. Here we are, human beings. We seem to be alive, but apart from our earth, the rest of the universe doesn't seem to be alive. It seems to be non-living matter. No? So he says, here we are, human beings. Here we are, we're alive. And we're alive in the midst of this universe that's going round and round and seems to be made up of non-living matter. But he says we are not whirling here, we're not going round and round and round upon a casual globe, on a globe that has no real significance or meaning, something that you do casually, you do it for no particular reason, just like that. But this is not a casual globe. This globe has a significance and a purpose. And we've not been just left here, abandoned to a task that is beyond our force, that's too much for us. It's not like that. We've not been abandoned. Even through everything that happens, he speaks about the tangled anarchy called fate. Tangled, it's something that's very confused, and if you have a sewing box, sometimes the threads will get all tangled up. One wonders how it happens. You roll them up nicely and close the lid, but next time you open it, they're all tangled up. He says this confusion, this tangled anarchy, where there doesn't seem to be any rule of law. And yet this tangled anarchy is what we call fate. It seems to determine our destinies. That's how we perceive the world, through that tangled anarchy called fate, and through the bitterness of death and fall. We see wonderful people leaving their body, sometimes in a very, very painful way. We wonder, why does that have to happen? And why do we ourselves have that feeling that we can't always live up to the best of ourselves, that we do things that afterwards we regret and feel ashamed of? He says, through all that, we can feel a hand is stretched out to help us, to support us through our difficult lives. Varadarajan.
It is near us in unnumbered bodies and births. In its unslackening grasp, it keeps us safe, the one immutable supreme result. No will can take away and no will change the foreign conscious immortality. The Father promised to our struggling souls when first man's heart dared death and suffered delay.
So wonderful, no? That outstretched hand is always near us, in unnumbered bodies and births, life after life after life. That outstretched hand is always near us, and it's keeping hold of something for us. Your grasp is when you hold something tight, no? And it's unslackening. It doesn't let go. It keeps holding on to something for us. It's keeping something safe for us. What it's keeping safe for us is the one inevitable, supreme result no will can take away and no doom change. That final outcome, no will can change that. It's been fixed. That's the decree of the Supreme. And whatever difficulties and disasters we have to pass through, whatever fall and dreadful things we find ourselves doing and regretting, that can't change that one inevitable, supreme result. And what is it? It's the crown of conscious immortality. That's what has been promised to us, to our souls, when they agreed to incarnate in this manifestation. was promised to them that yes, there'll be all kinds of struggles and difficulties and all different kinds of experiences. This is an adventure, the adventure of unconsciousness and evolution. But in the end, you will experience this individual conscious immortality. You will experience divinity in an individual material body on earth. That Godhead has been promised to our struggling souls. Now that we are here on earth, our souls are struggling. Before they came, they were not struggling. They were in perfect peace and bliss in union with the Lord. Here on earth they are struggling. Here they have to be heroes. So that was the promise that was made to us when we first said yes, when we first agreed to take the risk, to dare suffering death, that our immortal soul would pass through death and it would pass through a life full of suffering. I think it's so wonderful to remember this through all the difficulties we have to face in life. We've been promised that crown of conscious immortality, and that outstretched hand is always near us, keeping that result safe for us through everything that happens. Shamana.
He dared death and suffered life. Here suffered means bearing.
Yes, it means we accepted the suffering of life, yes. Our souls accepted, yes. You'll read, Shamana?
One who has shaped this world is ever its Lord. Our errors are his steps upon the way. He works through the fierce vicissitudes of our lives. He works through the hard breath of battle and toil. He works through our sins and sorrows and tears. His knowledge overrules our needs. Whatever the appearance we must bear, whatever our strong ills and present fate, when nothing we can see but drift and day, the mighty guidance leads us to all.
Yes. So the one who has shaped this world is still and forever the ruler of it. He hasn't abandoned it, and he's still fully in charge. And what seem to be our mistakes, for him are just steps on the way, necessary steps on the way. He's working towards that one supreme result through everything that happens to us. The fierce vicissitudes of our lives. Vicissitudes, it means all the unexpected challenges, the bad, difficult surprises that come to us in life, all the ups and downs. Sometimes they are very fierce, very challenging. But he's working through all those difficult circumstances. He's working through all the hard labor we have to do, the hard breath of battle and toil. We can't always be at peace in this world. We have to fight often, and we have to work hard. He's working through all that. He's even working through our sins. the things that we do that make us feel that we've made a big mistake and we've cut ourselves off from the Lord. Even through our sins and sorrows and our tears, He's working through all that. And His knowledge overrules our nescience, our not knowing. We don't know how to do the right thing, and we don't know whether we are doing the right thing. But maybe we try to do our best, and He may overrule what we do. We suddenly find that the result we were working for just doesn't happen. But that's His working also. Whatever the appearance we must bear, whatever things look like, however difficult things seem to be, whatever we have to put up with and suffer, our strong ills, all the things that make us feel, why do I have to suffer like this? Whatever is our present fate, even when we can't see anything ahead of us but drift and bail. Drift is when things seem to be moving in no particular direction. There's no guidance. It's like a flood spreading across the earth, just drifting. Things are floating, carried on the current. There seems to be no control of where they go. And bale is misfortune, painful things. When that's all that we can see, drift and bale, still a mighty guidance is leading us through everything. And where is it leading us to? That's what comes next. Amrita, you'll read.
After we have solved this great divided world, God's bliss and oneness, our unborn bride. A date is fixed in the calendar of the unknown, an anniversary of the birth sublime. Our soul shall justify it is
checkered walk. All will come near that no is not of harm. Yes. So here we are at the moment in all this drift and bale and challenges and difficulty. We are serving this great divided world in its journey towards its divine fulfillment. And at the end, our inborn right, it's something that nothing can take away from us. That's what that hand is holding on to, our inborn right. Our inborn right is to the divine bliss and oneness. That's where we've come from. That's where we will eventually return to. Aurobindo even says that a date is fixed. We have an appointment with destiny, but it's not in our calendar. It's in the calendar of the unknown. So we don't know when that date is coming. But he says that date, it's actually a birthday. It's an anniversary of the birth sublime. Perhaps the birth when the Supreme Lord has accepted to incarnate in the manifestation. So on that day, our soul shall justify its checkered walk. checkered means, there's a checkerboard or a chessboard. It's made up of black and white squares. So something that's checkered, it's alternating light and dark. So the walk of our soul, it has to pass through dark times and bright times. There's always this alternation of light and dark. But on that day, on that wonderful birthday, on that anniversary, we'll see the justification for all those alternations, the dark and the light. It will all make sense. We'll see why that was necessary. And everything will come near to us that at the moment seems to us, either it seems to us that it doesn't really exist, it seems like nothing, or it seems impossibly far away from us. But all those things, that bliss and that oneness and that fulfillment and knowledge and understanding, it will come near to us. Alice.
These calm and distant mights shall act at last, immovably ready for their destined task. The ever-wise, compassionate brilliances await the sound of the incarnate's voice to leap the bridge and bridge the chasms of ignorance and heal the hollow yearning gulfs of life and fill the abyss that is the universe.
Yes. So on that day, that date that's fixed in the calendar of the unknown, these bare and absolute potencies of the Spirit, these calm and distant mights who are now keeping aloof from us, now that will be the time for them to act at last. Now they are immovably ready. They are just waiting for the moment, when they will have to fulfill their destined task. And what they are waiting for is the sound of the incarnate's voice, the transcendent, incarnate in matter, calling them, saying, now it's time, now you should come. So then those ever-wise, compassionate brilliances, those shining powers of the Spirit will leap down and make a bridge across all these deep holes, chasms. It's like a deep crack or crevasse in a glacier. Deep, dark holes, we can't see the bottom of them. The chasms of ignorance. They will make bridges across so that we can move smoothly and easily, and they will heal the hollow, yearning gulfs of life. Gulfs are like chasms, deep, empty places. Life is full of those deep, empty places and feelings that are waiting to be filled. They are empty, they are longing to be filled. They're waiting for the presence of all those powers of the spirits to come and fill up this huge, deep hole that is the universe. This is one of Aurobindo's wonderful prophetic promises. So that's where we will stop today. You remember he said 2 are the ends of the mysterious plan. He's been telling us about the Spirit's bare and absolute potencies. At the other end is nature, and that's what we will read about next time. Everybody wants to read? Okay. So we'll go back to line 446. Alive to the truth that dwells in God's extremes, awake to a motion of all-seeing force, the slow outcome of the long ambiguous years, and the unexpected good from woeful deeds. The immortal sees not as we vainly see. He looks on hidden aspects and screened powers. He knows the law and natural line of things. Undriven by a brief life's will to act, unharassed by the spur of pity and fear, he makes no haste to untie the cosmic knot, or the world's torn, jarring heart to reconcile. In time he waits for the eternal's hour. Yet a spiritual secret aid is there. While a tardy evolution's coils wind on, and nature hews her way through adamant, a divine intervention thrones above. Alive in a dead, rotating universe, we whirl not here upon a casual globe, abandoned to a task beyond our force. Even through the tangled anarchy called fate, and through the bitterness of death and fall, an outstretched hand is felt upon our lives. It is near us in unnumbered bodies and births. In its unslackening grasp, it keeps for us safe the one inevitable, supreme result no will can take away and no doom change. The crown of conscious immortality, the Godhead promised to our struggling souls when first man's heart dared death and suffered life. One who has shaped this world is ever its Lord. Our errors are his steps upon the way. He works through the fierce vicissitudes of our lives. He works through the hard breath of battle and toil. He works through our sins and sorrows and our tears. His knowledge overrules our nescience. Whatever the appearance we must bear, whatever our strong ills and present fate, when nothing we can see but drift and bail, a mighty guidance leads us still through all. After we have served this great divided world, God's bliss and oneness are our inborn right. A date is fixed in the calendar of the unknown, an anniversary of the birth sublime. Our soul shall justify its checkered walk. All will come near that now is naught or far. These calm and distant mights shall act at last, immovably ready for their destined task. The ever-wise, compassionate brilliancies await the sound of the incarnate's voice to leap and bridge the chasms of ignorance and heal the hollow yearning gulfs of life and fill the abyss that is the universe.